Welcome to Beerfield. I am your host at Hot BFF with two P's, as always, joined by Thurry. Wait, no, those aren't our Twitter handles.
I was
anymore.
like, wait a second, did we change back?
We did not. No, I'm at Beerfield Hop with two P's, as always, joined by Beerfield Thurry. WCW themes, will they get us copyright claimed? We survived DDP's knockoff of Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, so little Vampiro tonight. Yeah, how are you? This is the part where I ask you how you were doing.
Oh, I'm good. I got a little round in prior to us setting this up. I was in the middle of watching a Game of Thrones episode ranked video and just laughing at how bad the ending 13 episodes were. So that was fun. More or less, I'm just ready to get this started, and then so we can get on the road tomorrow and truly enjoy the next 3 days.
That's right. We're on the road to Dan's bachelor party tomorrow, so they'll be joining me about. So you're leaving there about 9, so 10:30, 11 a.m. You're start the road trip down to Louisville. Be plenty of bourbon, plenty of disc golf, plenty of beer, plenty of fun to be had there. So
hell yes,
we're geared up for it. We're all excited to celebrate Katrina saying yes to Dan.
Yeah,
which is a huge upgrade for her.
Yeah,
so
she is.
Hopefully she realizes that. What a boon that is. Like,
what a boon.
She's marrying up.
Oh, I love it.
She is marrying up.
She is marrying up. I'm also marrying way up, so it's all right. Sometimes you both outkick the coverage.
Yeah, well, I did outkick the coverage. Holy shit. Is my mic crackling? There we go. I'm just on the wrong part of it. There we go. That sounds better. I don't know. Cables go bad every now and again, so you never know.
I mean, we've done this for 349 episodes. So
I mean, we have a typo on our damn sticker that we're giving out at the FFX
that is so amazing.
Sunday, so that's perfect.
The greatest fucking podcast you'll ever see.
The greatest podcast you'll ever have. So, by the way, if you're in the area of Ohio, holy shit, something is really sideways with the audio, either on this microphone or on these headphones, and it's going to bother the shit out of me. So we're going to troubleshoot that as we go. But if you're on your way to Ohio for some reason, or you should plan on it if you're not, Canton, Ohio, a week from Sunday, from this upcoming Sunday, we will be there.
Yeah, we will.
We are going to have some one-hitter sheets for you, like a shot menu, if you will. We are going to have some shot glasses for you if you pick one of those up. Maybe every word spelled right. I'm not sure. And we're going to have some stickers for you as well. So you'll have to come by the booth and say hi to old Dan and Chris there if you're there, and if you're coming through. So be sure to do that.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, we're not there yet. We got to drink a little.
We do.
Before we get into mostly reading Roto World, we'll talk about the Hall of Fame game, some wins, injuries, etc., etc. I got a cheap-ass Walgreens pack of football cards that will open on the show. So,
what's fueling Beerfield?
Dan?
I am drinking Little Beaver's Adventures Ahead. This is an Imperial Stout, aged in bourbon and rye barrels. This is about, I want to say, 2 years old, a year and a half, 2 years old. I've been sitting in my fridge for a long time. Decided to bring on some of the bigger stuff on for the pre-bachelor party episode that we got going on here. More of my thoughts on this later.
And I'm going more traditional. I have a Bavarian Dunkel from Urban Chestnut. So this is their dwarf beer. Urban Chestnut, one of my favorite breweries that does just kind of traditional style beer. So typically with the Dunkel, you'll get notes of cocoa, toasted malt, winter spice. So we'll see how this one stacks up. Got a growler of my own stuff that I'm going to bring to the bachelor party that you haven't had yet. That the people that have had say is very, very good. So
Well, I'm fucking excited.
I'm running a growler of my own stuff. I got some bourbon behind me. I'd pick a bottle out. We're going to get you a commemorative bottle, but we're going to have you pick what it is out of my collection behind me later in the show. So
All right.
I was looking for something special for you earlier this week, and I didn't just want to do Angels Envy Your Eye, and couldn't really land on anything. So we're going to pull
That's
something
fair.
out of my collection. All right. That is what we're drinking. So let's go ahead and get into some of this newsy shit here. First off, Carson Wentz, foot surgery for the Colts, injured his foot this week. Then Quentin Nelson also injured his foot this week. Carson Wentz, so 2 weeks, they'll know more so what his time frame is. Jake Glazer reports it should be closer to the 5-week span than anything, which would put him at only really potentially in danger of missing a week or two. But worst case scenario, he's out until about halfway through the season. So what do you make of Carson Wentz? And then Quentin Nelson also had essentially the same injury.
I'd be pretty shocked if Wentz returns early, because even if he returns early, it doesn't mean he's quite 100%. So we'll get to see just how long this lingers, and if he returns early, what effects that may have on him re-injuring himself in those prior weeks. But as for fantasy-wise, this is a pretty big blow to the Colts offense. I was already pretty low on their wide receivers. Just makes me out of them completely. Because there's no reason to pay out for any of the three, because there's no clue who the alpha is of this offense. We could say Pittman, but he's done nothing. We can say Campbell, but he's done nothing. And Hilton's 32 years old and playing with a new quarterback again with, just hasn't really been effective over the last couple of years due to his own injuries as well. And now you have a very young quarterback in Jason Eason potentially taking snaps and starting week 1, who's been, I guess, having mixed reports out of camp. I think the Quentin Nelson loss is probably bigger, because the only real redeemable piece in this whole team for fantasy was Jonathan Taylor, and no pass catching floor to him because Nine Heights gets all of those. And now you lose your best run blocker, and on top of already losing your starting quarterback, so you go from having a good enough offense to a bottom 10 offense to having a top 5 run blocking offensive line to maybe being middle of the road at best. Volume will be there, so Taylor is still going to be a decent RB2, but you lose his touchdown ceiling, and also even less so much of the efficiency that would come from having a good run blocking. I'm probably going to fade Taylor at his current ADP now, which is generally late first, early second. I do expect that to drop. But there's so many other running backs I would rather have over him that have a higher pass catching floor and a better offense, so more scoring opportunity.
So Carson Wentz, not a model for health. I agree on the wide receivers. If you're taking a dart throw on somebody, you take them late because you don't know what you're going to get. And that was honestly kind of where I was ahead of the injury, is that you take your dart throws late on your Colts wide receivers that you're not really paying up for any of them, because why would you, right?
Yeah.
So, get to that in a minute. Sorry, distracted, flipping through football cards.
Jesus.
The other, yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. So, the other side of it, though, is Jonathan Taylor and the injury to Quentin Nelson. And I think you do have to fade him a bit. Now, he was being drafted as a top 6 back. So how far do you fade him? Probably about the 8 to 10 range. You're not going to fade Jonathan Taylor that far, because the volume coming out of Jonathan Taylor, you got to figure stands to, holy shit.
I think the question is just...
Yeah, the volume coming out of Jonathan Taylor it's going to be good, right? So it's just how efficient can he be with Quentin Nelson out. And the Colts have a good line. If you're going to laud the Colts O-line, you can't tank them that hard for losing one piece. The flip side of that is it's
That's an
arguably
important piece that you just lost.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Is that it's the best offensive lineman that they have, so you're going to fade him some. But you can't tank it. I think you fade him to back end RB1, And again, Quentin Nelson's not going to miss the whole season either. So you just got to figure it out. But
there's a couple of routes you can go with it though too. It's if Nelson is to miss more of hit the back end of that timetable, and the Colts are, let's say, have won only 3 games or less, they may decide not to rush back Nelson. I mean, that part always comes in the back of my mind is, what if the Colts suck? What benefit do you have rushing back some of your more important pieces when you can put them on IR and just let them sit instead of trying to rush them back in a lost season?
So in that division, what are the odds that the Colts suck?
I mean, you have an improved Jacksonville team. You have an improved Titans team, which should be the
so
favorites.
Titans team should be the
and
favorites.
You have a very good AFC conference for your wild cards.
So Titans team should be the favorite. You're right.
Yep.
Beyond that, Jacksonville still doesn't have a defense to speak of. I'll agree they're improved. Low bar to call something improved. Houston is totally dog shit.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing that they'll be somewhat competitive.
They're going to be competitive in the division
maybe early on.
But do you see Tennessee pulling away with the division during that time frame? That's really what it's going to come down to. By week 8, do you think Tennessee has pulled away with the division so far that you're keeping Quentin Nelson on IR and you have no chance?
Without Carson Wentz, yeah, there's a very real chance that happens. I mean, you make your team one-dimensional. It doesn't matter how good that running back is. Like, unless he pulls a 2012 Adrian Peterson and literally carries that offense to a wild card spot, I'd be shocked. And that's not to say that even if they are competitive, that they may not want to rush back Nelson.
So you got to keep in mind also, Jacob Eason, he's getting his first ever first-team reps, but from a pure talent standpoint, was somebody a lot of people coming out of college saw as an heir apparent. So him getting the chance, look, he hasn't had a chance yet. He hasn't done anything to fall, other than recency bias. He has done nothing to fall off the cart we put him on last year when he was drafted, which is this could be the heir apparent to Phillip Rivers. He's got the talent. He's the 4th most talented quarterback coming out of this class, 4th or 5th. I don't remember. I'd have to look at who was in front of him. But either way,
well,
he had
5th.
5th. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But he added one of the best landing spots coming out of the class. Is a guy that we're looking at as an heir apparent that you're drafting late rounds because that potential is there, who hasn't gotten a shot to prove or disprove that yet. And now he's looking at the chance at getting a shot, and we're saying the Colts are dead in the water on a guy we were so high on that has done nothing to disprove that other than recency bias.
I mean, you had a lot more of an opinion, Tim, than I did. I didn't disagree with you where he was coming from, but they still only spent, a 4th-round pick on the guy. And he very much well could be. Like, he could come out.
I don't think it's as much of a...
playmakers around him, but he
and we saw what Wentz did last year. But you saw what Wentz did last year with no playmakers either, right? So, I mean, is it that much of a downgrade at quarterback? I'm playing devil's advocate here.
I know.
But is it?
I mean, probably so. Because, at least we kind of knew what Wentz saw. We have, again, you're right. We have.
It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. But that's not saying it's a downgrade. It's just this is what you know versus what you don't know.
I think my point to that is if they really did like Easton, then why go out and trade for Carson Wentz? Like, if they thought that Easton could be that, based on what they saw last year and based on how they scouted him as a potential piece, why spend what they spent to go get Wentz?
Maybe I forget what they spent to go get Wentz, but
I mean, it was a second round. I think it was a second round and something else, where the condition of the second round pick turns into a first. I think if you play 75% of the team snaps.
So the condition should tell you all you need to know about Wentz, and I think it may be that they see the ceiling of Wentz is higher, but the condition that they put on it should tell you.
I mean, you also get a
all you
benefit
need
of
to know.
having him very, very cheap compared to Wentz, allowing you to have this piece with a team that hasn't greatly improved its playmakers. So again, it just, to me, the Colts obviously said, we want to win right now. We feel more comfortable with Wentz. Again, it doesn't speak to Easton, automatically sucking,
Yeah.
but it's on a glowing report of how they feel about him. I mean, they may go out and trade for another quarterback at this point, even though it sounds like, again, if the reports are true right now, that Wentz may not miss that much time.
Yeah, well, yeah,
then-
and if Wentz only misses a week or two, and he's on the early end of that, because remember, this did happen very early in training camp. We were still a month away from the start of the season.
Yep.
To where if Wentz is back in week 4 of a 17-week season, keep that in mind too, then no, it's not a tank job, and you are bringing Wentz back, and you are bringing Quentin Nelson back, and then you don't phase it that much. I would say this. If the evaluation's going to come in 2 weeks, you're still in the middle of training camp, you're still before your fantasy drafts, check back with us in 2 weeks. We'll see what the prognosis is.
All right. I'm going to give you some. I do want to double back to Jonathan Taylor
Sure.
because you put him at around the 8 to 10 ratio. His current ADP right now.
Without Quentin Nelson, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, it's just like what they have today is RB10 at the 111 spot,
Okay.
tied with Austin Eckler and Aaron Jones.
I don't know that I would change that.
Okay. I'll read off the guys behind Jonathan Taylor. Let's see how many you would take, if any, you would take over it.
Is one of them Nick Chubb?
No, Nick Chubb's actually above him,
Okay,
which
then
is already shocking.
probably not.
Nick Chubb
but
is
then,
Nick Chubb's the RB6 right now.
then probably not, but go ahead. But when you hit
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, I'm going to go on a tirade.
Directly behind him at the 203 is Najee Harris.
No, rookie, unproven, bad O-line. Not a chance.
Antonio Gibson.
Still not a chance, although I think that there is a chance that at the end of the season he does finish as an RB1. It's a guy that had not a lot of carries in college. He started to break out last year, got hurt. I mean, there's potential there. I don't think it's as insulated.
Okay. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 206. RB13.
A little bit of a disappointment last year. I don't think I'd consider him. He'd probably be considered same tier, but I don't think I would consider him above Jonathan Taylor.
Joe Mixon.
Hurt again,
He
but
is hurt.
again, supreme talent, shitty O-line. Like, if you're gonna put somebody in a tier, here's these supremely talented backs that have that have a bad O-line, or in the case of Jonathan Taylor, have a slightly weakened O-line. I love Joe Mixon, not the person, the back.
What I don't. So far, outside of maybe Najee Harris, I would take all the backs before Jonathan Taylor.
So I'm not with you. I am not with you on that.
no.
So far, I would consider them
Yeah, yeah.
debatable. I don't think I could say, well, you're a fucking idiot because you took them over Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could say you're an idiot otherwise either. I think that, Mixon is probably in the same tier. Edwards-Helaire, I could say probably not necessarily, just from a talent standpoint. He's probably a tier below. Eckler, I'd probably have a tier below, but you can keep going if you want. I really want you to get...
Eckler is. I absolutely love Eckler. I mean, that offense. It all stems around their pass catching floor.
Can you get to
We know that targets are worth a lot.
Can you
more
keep
than-
going
than
until we
just-
get to Josh Jacobs?
Well, I mean, if you take Josh Jacobs over Taylor, I don't know what to tell you. But
No,
right now,
just keep going.
There's one I completely disagree with, and that's J.K. Dobbins. He's below Taylor,
Yeah.
but he's at the 212 RB15, which I love Dobbins as a talent. I know that you're on the fence about it, but that offense is fairly similar in terms of what they expect from the starters.
I'm not on the fence about it without Ingram there. It's a wide open. I like Dobbins' ceiling way more than I like Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. So, I mean,
it's not about. Well, of course they have higher ceilings, but
I would put.
Gus is going to have a role. Justice Hill doesn't do shit.
I would put
I'll-
Dobbins in the same tier as I would Antonio Gibson, right? I mean, they both have a chance to be RB1s. The talent is for sure there. It's just show me.
I've seen more. I just fall back on to not having a pass catching ceiling. What makes it tough, right? Because we know that targets are worth more than carries.
Well, the only thing hurting
Or at least
Jonathan
receptions
Taylor.
are definitely worth more than carries, especially when we play in majority half point or full point.
But that was
PPR.
always the case with Jonathan Taylor, though. The thing hurting Jonathan Taylor from having a pass catching ceiling was Naeem Hines, and that hasn't changed.
I mean, I was always a bit lower on Jonathan Taylor for redraft this year, though. Anyways,
Sure,
so
but
David Montgomery.
uh,
I'll get to Josh Jacobs here in a second.
David Montgomery's definitely below.
Chris Carson.
Yeah, I would consider him below as well. I think that they're fair where they're at. David Montgomery, the issue is what did the Bears do with the offensive line, right? And if Dalton's under center to start the season for the first 2 to 3 weeks, then how is that any different from Wentz and Quentin Nelson missing time?
Oh no, I don't disagree with you, Montgomery. I do think Chris Carson, again,
I love Chris Carson.
he's going to get volume and he's going to get pass catching work.
Shad Penny's back, and I can't believe I'm the one that's saying that, but
Well, sure, but it's not
Yeah.
like we've seen Chris Carson not be effective with the help.
Chris
of
Carson's going to
Penny.
be effective. I am
Yeah.
definitely an advocate for Chris Carson,
Oh no,
just not over Jonathan Taylor necessarily.
I mean, in terms of also value, I do expect Taylor to dip further. Obviously, this is with a day or two removed from it. Then we have DeAndre Swift at the 306 RB.
How can you trust Detroit with? Where he's at, given everything you've listed off, I like where he's being drafted. How can you trust Detroit with anything?
I obviously don't trust their offense, but again, I expect
love
the target
DeAndre.
volume. I expect to be there.
I love DeAndre Swift, but
And then your boy Josh Jacobs, 309 RB19, which I think seems a bit fair. It was actually a lot. I want to say it was lower, and he's been rising up the boards.
well, yeah.
feels like right
and
to me.
all I'll say is, if you're on the fence about Josh Jacobs, go look at last year and go look at how you value a Nick Chubb or an Aaron Jones versus a Josh Jacobs, because Aaron Jones is all touchdown, and the Nick Chubb Josh Jacobs variance is only like 20 points, and the round variance is Chubb's going to the first, Jacobs is going to the third. So when you're looking for value, unless you're scared of Kenyon Drake, which, again, this is how ebbs and flows go from season to season, right? I'm a big Kenyon Drake fan, but I don't think he's going to take everything away from Josh Jacobs. I think he's a nice complimentary piece. But
Again,
the difference was 20 points last season, and your difference now is 2 rounds.
don't get
Josh
me.
Jacobs
I think Nick Chubb is going way too high.
No, I think Josh
it should be
Jacobs is going too low. I think Jacobs is a value.
Nick Chubb is going
I know.
way too high. Jacobs, I think.
I think
right
Chubb's
up-
fine.
That's the 107.
Who's he ahead of?
He's the head of Barkley, Eckler, Jones, who I would easily have him all above. Again, no pass catching floor. I love the offense. He should get touchdown opportunity. But even Kareem Hunt stole red zone work from Chubb, which is his most high value touch he's going to get. He just doesn't get enough pass catching work. So now you're begging for a Derrick Henry style of rushing
I think
that just doesn't quite happen.
I think you can put him in the same tier as an Aaron Jones or an Austin Eckler. I don't think it's egregious to take him ahead of those two or the other way around.
I would be fine to let Nick Chubb slide especially for Barkley. Barkley would be a tough
Barkley's the one I don't agree with. Barkley should be higher.
Yeah.
But
But Eckler in that offense, the biggest concern obviously is, can his smallest frame actually hold up? But I do expect the Chargers offense to be very, very good this year. Jones, thank God Jamal Williams is gone, but do we think that the homeboy over there,
no, because A.J.
Dillon's going to he's not going to take targets away, and they don't have a number 2, and they still
No, but I think he takes
can improve the pass catching.
But I think he takes rushes away, and I think he takes some goal line away.
You don't need to have a 70% plus to be opportunity to share to be an RB1, a dominant RB1, especially Jones is proven.
You don't, but you also know just as well as I do that Aaron Jones's red zone efficiency and what he does with touchdowns is
insane.
He's
done it for 2 years straight,
not
so-
predictable and not you can't necessarily repeat it. And if you let me put it this way,
Yes,
if you're an NFL
insane
coach,
part.
right?
Yeah.
You have Aaron Jones or A.J. Good problem to have, first off. But you're on the 5, and you can put Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon back there. Who you sticking back there?
Who's going to threat the defense even more in that zone? Like, you can do probably a little bit more.
The answer is Devontae Adams. The
answer.
answer is Devontae Adams.
The answer is always Devontae Adams in that spot.
but no, that's a great problem to have if you're Green Bay.
Yeah. And then, the point is that the injury to Quentin Nelson, the injury to Carson Wentz, for what we know now, and we'll, again, just like you said, we'll find out more about Wentz probably in a couple weeks, about how long his timetable actually is. Like, I'm fine with fading JT. I'm not saying you have to completely disregard him, because he's going to get a lot of volume, and volume is always king.
I wouldn't fade him too hard.
Yeah. Like you're not going to drop him into the RB20 range or any of that shit. Like, he's still going to be in that, 10 to 15 for
You're
me.
dropping him a tier at most.
Yeah, if that, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. He might.
I haven't gone through my tiers. It just also shows that there's a lot of quality backs and how you should try to get two of them in those first, 4 rounds. There's a lot of quality, to it. Guys like Miles. Miles Sanders, I'm on the fence again, but Myles Gaskin, Mike Davis. I don't get how Gerald Henderson's a 4th round pick, but I'm not going to get into that again because that's way too fucking high. Then after that it gets a bit ugly, but that's where I stand on this.
All right, so a couple more things. Jay Glazer making waves today.
He is.
Other than the Wentz deal, Packers have agreed to trade Aaron Rodgers if he still wants out of Green Bay following the 2021 season.
That's gonna be shocking.
Yeah. GM Brian Gutekunst will back down and grant it if Rodgers still wants out.
They have to still try to prove that the Jordan Love pick wasn't the worst first-round pick of all time. They have to try to salvage
Devontae Adams.
Adams said he's already going to leave. Like, I don't think they're going to pay.
I don't think Rodgers stays if Adams leaves.
I don't think Rodgers stays at all.
I don't think he does either.
Rodgers didn't want to come back now. It just made sense to him.
I think
he's gone.
This is the last dance.
Yep. Yeah. As we've seen everywhere, all the memes and everything else that everyone's posting.
Yeah.
This is their last hoorah, and I hope they don't make the playoffs.
Well, either way, I hope they're both gone after this year, and maybe the Packers will finally be bad for both of our sake.
Well, if they trot out Jordan Love, it's only 99.9% sure that they're going to suck. So
right. So Aaron Rodgers, if you're a dynasty owner, look, if you find yourself not in a competitive place, especially in Superflex, this might be a sell window this year.
He should have. If you weren't a hyper-competitive team, he should have been a sell for the last 3 or 4 years. Probably, I would say 4.
But your windows.
That's about 2 or 3.
But your windows.
Rodgers could retire. I think he does get traded.
I think
he
he'll
might
get
even
traded.
be a cheap trade candidate, even for a bad team. I don't say bad team, but even for like we're not going to compete this year, but we'll compete next year. It might not be the worst trade because I think he'll get moved on to potentially a team like Denver who wants to overpay for aging quarterbacks. And we know how good the playmakers are in Denver, especially compared to what he has right now in Green Bay. Obviously age isn't on your side, so don't pay too much, but I think he has about 2 or 3 years left in him.
No, you got a sell window though, right? Because if you got a championship team and Aaron Rodgers is lighting shit on fire,
you're not trading him now if you're a championship team.
No, if you're not a championship team though, and you have him and he's lighting shit on fire, you're gonna trade him to a team that's in contention.
Yeah, especially if not now, I guess wait until early season and try to maximize a first round pick for him, which I think you should be able to get a first round pick for Rodgers,
especially in Superflex.
Yeah, especially even at his age, I don't think he's
got 2 or 3 years left, and you don't know where he's gonna land. He'll land somewhere.
We absolutely don't.
You just don't know where.
And they may not trade him. Even if or he may retire, but if you're a contending team that just won a championship, hopefully you'll take that loss, and hopefully you have pieces in place at your QB1 or QB2 spot. Hopefully QB1 spot, but hopefully you'll have both.
Right. All right, Deshaun Watson. Texans still believe that he's going to end up wanting to play for them this year, and are not returning calls to teams interested in a trade.
A lot of conflicting reports over the past couple of days. Philly has been
on
the
it.
Top team, obviously on that spot. And now with the conflicting reports, obviously, who the fuck knows? They're probably still asking for far too much. The biggest question is that I have for you, and I've been kind of thinking about this all day, is that if a trade happens for Watson, if you're the Eagles, how much of a guarantee is Hurts a part of that deal? Because I don't think it's a guarantee. And I actually think it's closer to like almost a 50-50.
If you're the Eagles and you're trading for Watson, I think that Hurts.
You want to hopefully have Hurts be a part of that deal.
I think that Hurts has to be because you want to do that in lieu of giving up higher draft picks.
Yes.
If you're the
Eagles. But if you're Houston, do you think you're like Hurts has what? He'll have 2 years left in his contract after this year, so you have 2 years to try to rebuild around him before you have to pay him. We only have a small sample size of who he is as a starting quarterback, so it could go either direction. You just drafted Davis Mills, and you should have
not Davis,
not
Davis Mills.
I know, but I mean, you still spent day 2 capital on it. Trust me, I'm as high as I'm as high on Hurts as you are. But you can be certain with the bad draft pick in what should be what I've heard is a deep quarterback class in next year.
Davis Mills, first off, is not a factor in this. Second off,
I fucking hope not. If
I'm Houston, I'm listening to whatever. Given the way that Bill O'Brien traded all of my draft capital, I'm listening to whatever on Deshaun Watson.
I mean, would you rather have draft capital or Hurts? I mean, you're gonna get both if they are trade. Like you're not gonna get one or the other. Like you get both, but would you rather have more draft picks?
If I'm Houston, I'd rather have more draft. If I'd rather have more draft picks if I'm Houston because they've got holes all over the damn place, and you're not gonna fix them with just Jalen Hurts for 2 years.
Exactly. So I think the one note I've seen that's been sticking is that they're also asking for Devonta Smith. I don't know how true that is, but I've seen it.
I don't know why. And if I'm in Houston, I want draft capital. I don't want Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. I want draft capital. This is the NFL. It's not the MLB. You're not doing player trades. If I'm Houston, I want draft capital.
I think that's why.
And if I'm Philly,
deal may not get done.
But if I'm Philly, I don't want to give up draft capital because I also have an old ass defense and hardly anything. Yeah, so I think that it's a trade that doesn't necessarily make sense for either team. Personally.
I don't think either team should do it.
I don't either.
Unless you're Houston, that can get more. But we've also seen Denver. I saw Denver, Carolina, a part of these deals, or as the reported rumor team, and Miami. It's part of the rumored teams for Watson.
Denver makes the most sense. If I'm putting all hilarious Drew Lock love aside, Denver would make the most sense as far as
I agree.
Given the pieces they have, as far as give up some draft capital and let's go get this quarterback. Denver would make the most sense. You could also make an argument for Carolina, but they just traded for Sam Darnold. So
and they just spent the 6th rounder or a 2nd rounder compared to Denver spending a 6 on Teddy. Like you could expect that a bit more.
Yeah. So
and I get it. I see it for Miami too, but they're losing all their fucking players at this point on offense. So
well, and for Miami, like you got to give Tua a chance, right? You went out and drafted him. So,
but if you can get Watson in hopes and maybe he only misses a handful of games.
Well, that's the other thing is that it's not resolved. But if you're Miami and you overperformed as much as you did last year, you got to give Tua a chance. They might be a quarterback away, but you're a young, up-and-coming team with an overachieving defense. Give yourself a chance to grow together versus...
I don't disagree with you at all. I don't think they should make that trade. I'm just...
trying to bring in Watson, so...
Yeah.
I mean...
I definitely agree you shouldn't be part of that.
And Watson's complicated, too, because you still don't know what the NFL is going to do about those 22 cases that have seemingly just fucking gone away as quickly as they came. I mean, look, I said it when they happened, and I'm going to say it again. And it seems more and more true every day. You remember when those cases dropped, and I hesitated to say, this seems like a ploy to keep him in Houston, as the trade rumors are picking up. This seems like a grab to keep him there. As much as I hate to put that on anybody that's actually gone through sexual assault or anything like that, you can't tell me the more that the offseason has gone on And the more that those accusations have gotten quiet, that it doesn't seem like that was a ploy to keep him in Houston. The timing of it was too fucked up. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but the timing of that was so fucked up with Trades Building's team that it seemed like that was a Houston-generated, and Houston's a shitty franchise, that was a Houston-generated thing of let's keep him here longer.
I mean,
And then let's
I would
drive down the
expect
asking price.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna touch that. But I mean,
Nor should you.
I mean,
Not enough people
yeah.
listen to the show for me to come under fire, so I'm good. And I don't want to.
Jesus Christ.
I don't want to I never want to take away from the fact that this could be legitimate, or that the accusations are legitimate. And if they are, you're not trading for them at all. But why did they just go away? There's 22 accusations of assault out there, right? I mean, how many people have we seen just like that gone for assault? Even quarterbacks. Just shit happens from assault. Zero tolerance. It's just gone. It's like those 22 accusations didn't fucking happen. Why?
I mean, next year you'll have your trials. I don't know why now. There was a YouTube video that was posted with one of the. It was not even an alleged victim. She didn't press or come forward in terms of as one of the 22 victims. She's just another person that went into very, very hardcore detail on what happened between her and Watson. And I guess that the Houston PD has been trying to get a hold of her and to interview her, but she's been dodging them.
Why? If it was that bad, why are you dodging the police?
Exactly. So it like this is becoming
This isn't-
only insane.
This isn't Trevor Bauer shit. He didn't go punch somebody in the vagina. So
Yeah. Like the fact is that Watson hasn't spoke aggressively at all against it. I mean, I know they're telling him not to say anything, but if this was made up at all, like there would be so much like if it was me, like why would I sit there and not say a fucking thing?
But I'm taking I'm taking the other side of it though too, right? If it wasn't, why would the NFL be sitting by idly when there's 22 claims out there and not putting him on the commissioner's exempt list or not doing something about that? Why would they not be doing something? And why would we have, for the last 3 months, not heard shit about this?
The fact that they didn't put him on the exempt list during their investigation while they're still going through it is already a problem in its own way. And that's the biggest issue of it all, is that, again, you're I won't say you're rewarding, but you're letting somebody in a much higher powered position and influence because he's good at football get away with something or be allowed to play and be, put into a position to succeed to where he shouldn't play at all. Like Houston should not even let him play. It just speaks to the morality, but that's not shocking because of how many cases come out of these players that don't really do anything, like they don't serve any real time outside of Ray Rice, who's been booted out of the league. I mean, Greg Hardy had multiple chances. That
Darius Geis, shit was dropped,
and he may come back still. I wouldn't be shocked that people aren't talking, but I guess there's more shit coming out about during his days at LSU that still hasn't been resolved.
And I'm not defending Darius Geis or Ray Rice or any of that shit, but I mean, it's just one of those things, right? And I guess that was more physical assault than sexual assault, but I mean, still, the fact is that it came really quick when trade rumors were heating up and Watson wanted out, and just enough to cool that off, and then it went away.
I mean, Houston's a shitty franchise. I don't think they would potentially try to destroy.
I think they're that shitty.
A person's future.
I think they're that shitty.
If they are, I just don't want to believe that a group of people would come up in a room and decide to mutually try to destroy another human being's career because they're a racist piece of shit and they're about to lose them. Like I get desperate attempts, but this is pretty fucking desperate.
We'll see, but like I said, it came really quick, and then it went away. Why?
Well, it's still here. It just hasn't been talked about. It's not like
But why? Because the media is going to
22
grab
thing.
onto fucking anything that they can grab onto. So why for 3 months has the NFL media, especially in the times when it's starved for news because there ain't OTAs or training camp going on until now, why was there not anything grabbed a hold of?
I don't know. I'm not even who the fuck knows. And maybe there'll be some lawn broken out thing, and then it'll come
I mean,
up,
Chad
and
Kelly
you're
can go
probably-
get beat with a fucking vacuum cleaner hose and it makes headlines. But we got nothing on Deshaun Watson and his 22 accusations for 3 months.
speaks probably how dirty the NFL actually is.
Uh-huh.
Either way,
This will be interesting to see how it unfolds. Either way, I don't think Watson's going anywhere. I don't think a team can take the risk that unfolds that badly.
Well,
And I
I
think
think-
that's exactly what Houston wanted.
I think some teams are seeing it as we can get a franchise quarterback for cheap. Because what we do know, unless you're Ray Rice, you can come back into the NFL. And you can't say Geis because
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
Jury's
but
still out. But
everybody besides Ray Rice has come back, and some have been successful, some haven't. But a team can now go, hey, I can suck this year, or maybe even suck next year. Watson, he probably won't get a full season suspension because the NFL hates weed smokers more than they hate, abusers of women and children. Watson probably only gets 6 games.
But has Watson been extended yet? Like, what's Watson's contract?
Yeah, I think he got extended last year.
Okay.
I'll pull it up. You want to?
I mean,
Watson, yeah. So he's got. Yeah. He just. I thought he got re-signed last year. Yeah, he re-signed with his team last year. So, they'll be in dead cap hell this year and next year, and then after that, their potential, quote unquote, per Sports Track is 2024.
yeah, okay.
They have no dead cap in 2025, and they're not in the green from cap hit the dead cap until 2023.
Right. So,
That would be when it would be the first time. So again, like it's the one situation for a completely different reason.
it is, and I don't see him moving. I really don't. I don't see a team taking the risk on.
Well, I do.
Well,
I
and
mean,
if
you're going to get a franchise.
But if you see a team taking that risk, then you do not believe there is fire where there is smoke from these allegations. Because
You
the team is not
probably-
going to take a risk on a guy that has 22 sexual assault allegations.
the league, whatever team does,
And-
will probably be in conversations and have a pretty good fucking clear on what the punishment looks like for Watson
Uh-huh.
from
So,
the NFL.
22 sexual
it.
assault allegations. If the punishment is mild enough, if the punishment is what it should be for those being real, you're not trading for him.
For what it should be. Well, we know the NFL has always been lenient. Again, outside of Ray Rice, it's been pretty fucking lenient. And I guess Peterson, because those are the first 2 real cases that put the NFL on blast. And then since then, you've seen, Tyreek Hill have his second chances. Again, Greg Hardy, the guy from the 49ers that has been bouncing
Alvin
around.
Smith.
Yeah, these guys have multiple cases of domestic abuse, and they're still getting second chances.
None of them have 22. And it's a sexual assault, not domestic abuse.
Well, sure, but I would assume the
Apples
NFL
and
would have
apples
them.
and oranges.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, look, something smells fishy here.
I'm not even gonna try to at this.
No,
point.
I will,
I know.
because again, not enough people listen to this show or follow me to throw me under fire. Something smells fishy here. There's something not right about a guy with that many claims that still has trade rumors surfacing around him, and not enough smoke on punishment of the NFL. And whether it's fishy on the NFL's part for not doing what they should do, or whether it's fishy on the accuser's part and the case's part, there's something fishy here. I'm not going to say who's being fishy, but something doesn't add up when you got a guy with 22 sexual assault cases pending and trade rumors of people willing to give up what they're willing to give up. Something
Not even
on one
trade
side or
rumors,
the
fact
other.
that he's still playing. The fact
Or he's
that
still playing, yes.
He's still able to go to training
Something
camp.
on one side or the other does not add up here. And at the end of this day, someone is going to be fucked up. And I don't know if it's the NFL or the accusers, but at the end of the day, someone's going to be fucked up here when it's all said and done.
I'm sure the NFL will get dunked on either way.
Well, probably.
And what we could end up seeing is Watson gets deframed and put as a victim, essentially, and potentially ruins his life. Not even just his career, but his life potentially. I mean, we've seen enough TV shows and movies to know that people can come up with some crazy ass shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
Right.
what I'm saying is just, I'm not saying what. I don't want to accuse. I don't want to say who. Something don't add up.
Something doesn't. That I agree with. Something does not seem right.
Let's see. Dalton Keene not practicing. Justin Jackson taking higher up reps at training camp. Yeah, he should be. He should be taking second string reps at training camp and occasionally rotating with Eckler. Justin Jackson has done nothing but perform when he's been given the chance to perform.
It's a very, very open job for that second role. Josh Kelly is not secure. I don't give a fuck about Larry Roundtree.
I don't give a shit about Larry Roundtree either. Josh Kelly fell off hard last year, but Justin Jackson, when given the opportunity, has done nothing but produce. He's not been the most durable guy, but he's done nothing but produce when given the chance.
He should be on every single dynasty roster at this point.
And you should have been listening 2 years ago when we told you that.
And it doesn't matter. The fact is that he is the direct backup to Eckler, and if anything were to happen to Eckler at 200 pounds in a 17-game season on a very good offense were to go get hurt or miss time for an extended time, Jackson should jump into that role directly. Be damned to Josh Kelly or Roundtree, who are not going to get any significant pass catching work. Maybe they take a couple red zone looks every now and then, but we know the Chargers offense is going to be very good this year.
Jackson's the other guy. And again, if you'd been listening to us for any length of time, especially me, Justin Jackson's a guy that was a late round pick that we said, yeah, this guy's got it. And he's done nothing but produce. And he should be second string.
Yep, he should be on all dynasty rosters or any redraft rosters with large benches.
Kadarius Toney progressing physically at a nice rate. Look, if Kadarius Toney is used in the role he should be used in, he's a great best ball pickup.
Giants are a fucking dumpster fire right now.
The Giants are a dumpster fire.
Oh my God. I don't want anything. Just Barkley. I don't want nothing to do with anybody other than Barkley in that offense.
But you can't disagree with me. Kadarius Toney's talent, if he's used right, is a good best ball pickup.
Yeah, because I want to trust Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge to put the right pieces.
I got nothing against Joe Judge.
And to use them correctly. And for Daniel Jones to be anything as he was the last couple of years and hopefully improve. I don't want nothing to do. He still has to compete with a lot of touches, with a lot of different receivers on this team. And the dysfunction around this team right now is I just want Barkley. I'll let somebody else take a stab on Toney, because when he gets dropped in a couple of weeks, and then maybe he has a nice stretch when Galladay gets hurt again because he's having hamstring problems. I'll wait till Toney gets dropped.
Hey, he got drafted in our best ball dynasty league, I think, but Cole Beasley didn't.
No, Beasley did.
Oh, did
I
he?
mean, Toney should have got a draft. It's a 40
40-round pick. When did Beasley get taken?
40. I think Snow took him at like round 38.
Gross.
And then he texts me. He goes, "I understand why, but round 38." I'm like, I was almost ready to. Like, I think Beasley's a piece of shit and he shouldn't be playing football, but he's still gonna probably end up playing because the Bills don't give a fuck, and he's still gonna be effective in a high-powered offense.
KJ Wright visiting the Bengals. That would be a boost to them if he signs. Rondale Moore, more of an inside receiver, and Andy Isabella is more of an outside receiver. The problem is that you also have A.J. Green and DeAndre Hopkins there and Christian Kirk there. So looking at Arizona's got a crowded wide receiver room.
I kind of see this. So Kurt's battling injuries, Green battling injuries. Obviously, he's never going to replace Hopkins. That's not even his role.
No, he'd be.
It wouldn't surprise me if Moore, by not even halfway through the season, that
he'd be
Moore
replacing Kirk, is what he'd be doing.
Yeah, is maybe Moore is the number 2 target getter in this offense by maybe halfway through. Like it wouldn't shock me. Second round pick. Hopefully, he's used in a way that allows him to be effective.
And Moore is what he is, right? He's a second round dynasty pick in rookie drafts. I got to qualify, in rookie drafts. He's a second round pick there. He's not on, and shouldn't be, on your radar in redraft. And that's basically
you can throw
how
him on
that
a
goes.
watch list.
Yeah.
You can see how that number 2 spot actually plays out. Because I don't think
Green's,
there's any certainty that
No.
Green or Kirk will have the number 2
But
spot.
the problem is that if they're all somewhat healthy, there's no certainty that anybody's going to have the number 2 spot, and that's where you run into complications. Is that
And that's fine.
You've got Hopkins, who's going to command a lot of targets, and then you've got Green, Kirk, Isabella, and Moore fighting for targets behind that, and at least Green and Kirk have earned the right to get some of those targets. Moore coming in as a rookie. He could be the second target getter, but I think it's going to split enough to where you're not necessarily interested
I mean, I'm not saying
ahead
go out
of
and draft-
you don't go out and draft him ahead of a
I'm not
watch
saying
list.
you have to draft them. I'm saying because what are the likelihood that all 4 of the backups to Hopkins stay healthy? We'll probably have an idea at some point through
Get
that
some
point.
clarity.
Even if they're all healthy, Moore at this point is more talented than everybody on that roster besides Hopkins.
And Christian Kirk returned to practice, by the way,
But then
is your inside receiver. So there's that too.
which is actually a good role. It should have been his role the whole time.
Yeah,
But he should
Kirk and
hopefully
Moore
get
are both inside receivers. Isabella should be an outside speed guy, but AJ Green's also going to be an outside guy. And that's where your problem is, because Hopkins is also going to be an outside or an inside guy, depending on what you deploy. There's so many combinations here for the Cardinals that really just all benefits Kyler Murray.
Thankfully, they run the highest 4 receiver sets in football. So
Also true.
thankfully and hopefully they ran a lot of plays, but hopefully they actually pass more. Hopefully Murray decides to pass more than just kind of take off and run.
Well, you should be, because you got everyone healthy in 4 wide receiver sets that are
Yeah.
Christian
Well, not even
Kirk,
just him, just
that are
yeah.
Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, AJ Green, and DeAndre Hopkins. That's a pretty good receiving core.
Yeah. He also just ran the ball a lot last year. A
He
lot
did.
of plays ran as a team, but a lot of rushes.
Holy shit. Titans released Deshaun Kaiser, but the holy shit here to me is that Kaiser's still only 24 years old.
I think he was the youngest quarterback in
He was.
2017 class.
He was like 21, 20?
He was like 2021. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
fucking
he was young. And we said then he shouldn't have come out, but yeah.
No.
They released him. So Deshaun Kaiser's still floating around somehow.
And they signed Matt
Barkley. Yeah.
God, Jesus Christ. Pray to God that nothing happens to Tannehill.
Jalen Richard sidelined indefinitely with a foot injury. So we all know
it
that's
still doesn't
Jacobs
mean
and Drake.
that-
It doesn't mean anything.
It still doesn't mean Josh Jacobs will receive any more pass catching work.
Well, no, because Kenyon Drake's still there. Kirk returned to practice. I already
Yeah.
told you that. Kenny Galladay, hamstring injury already. Probably going to miss 2 to 3 weeks. That's kind of the case for Kenny Galladay, honestly.
I want none of them.
I don't want anything to
Nope.
do with the Giants other than Kadarius Toney. And
Oh my God, I hate you so much.
I know you do, but I only want Kadarius Toney in best ball. There's going to
I
be
want
2 to 3 weeks this year where Kadarius Toney goes off and is good in best ball leagues on your bench.
I don't mind having Tony if you pair him with Daniel Jones.
Robert Griffin the third broadcaster
ESPN.
now. Yeah, going to ESPN.
Hope he can't be worse than Booger McFarland.
Nick, this one's for you, buddy.
I love this.
Sam Darnold and Dan Arnold. Strong connection at Panthers camp.
How many times do you think broadcasters are going to fuck that up if this becomes a real connection?
Darnold and Arnold?
Arnold.
I don't know, but Dan Arnold's a thing, and I'm here for it.
I pray that Dan Arnold can have like a significant stretch to where Nick has to live with you, reminding him every fucking time he touches a football that he exists in the league. Oh God, I pray.
Kirk Cousins.
Piece of shit.
Kellen Mond remains on the list. COVID-19 list.
I think he has like a day or two left.
It could still lead to short-term availability for Cousins, who is stubbornly and politically refused the vaccine. Nate Stanley was also activated on Thursday.
So it's come out this day because Cousins gave his press conference after practice that they're changing rooms so the QB room can be bigger, and he's talking about, I think this is pretty fucking real, about putting a plexiglass around him. This man is so against.
He's gonna put himself in a penalty box
because God will protect him. Like I said this to Stompy on Twitter today. He, in the same state, watched Karl Anthony Towns lose his mom to COVID, but yet Kirk Cousins will go, nah, bro, I'm good. I got God to protect me. Fuck you, Kirk Cousins. Fuck you. But I need to get that off my chest.
Get your goddamn vaccine. I mean, look, we're not a political show, and this isn't a political statement. This is a humanity statement. Get your goddamn vaccine. Like,
my body, my choice. Fuck you and get the vaccine.
Yeah, really, whether you like him, whether you believe, do your research, right? If you're fine with mRNA, don't ever get Moderna. Moderna sucks. Like, Moderna scares the shit out of me. Go do your research on them, and you'll be scared to death.
Oh, I already got Moderna, so
Pfizer.
I'll let you know what happens.
Probably nothing. You're probably fine, but Moderna just scares the shit out of me. But Pfizer, look, company that gives you a boner pill isn't gonna fuck you over on a COVID vaccine.
The last thing they want to do is try to fuck anybody over during a pandemic for a
Right.
vaccine. Like, stop reading your uncle's stop reading your uncle's stupid
Johnson and Johnson
posts on Facebook.
Yeah, Johnson and Johnson. Look, there's been some questions about that, but if you're against mRNA, go get it. Pfizer, if you're waiting for FDA approval, they should have it by the beginning of September. So plan it. It's a humanity question, people. It's not a political question at this point. Millions of people are vaccinated. Nobody's died. I know one person that caught Bell's palsy, which is temporary.
It's all right. They're more concerned because they were told that the vaccine was going to prevent people from getting COVID. I didn't realize that it's 100% preventable with the vaccine. So
here's the thing. If I put on body armor, not like knight body armor, but like police body armor, right? Protecting my vital organs, I still might get shot in the arm and the leg. But I'm not going to die. That's kind of what the vaccine's doing. You're not.
I may get a
you
bruise.
have a 99.96% chance that you're not going to die. You might have sinus infection-like symptoms, but you're not going to die, and that's the other thing. People are focused too much on immunity versus what happens if I do get infected. And the fact is that if you get infected and you're vaccinated, it's going to be a lot less severe than it is. And it still may not be severe if you're not, but the chances are it's going to be a lot less severe if you are than it is if you're not.
Yep.
Get fucking vaccinated. No trade imminent or developing for Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. Let's not rehash that 30-minute discussion.
Nope.
Anthony Schwartz missed the last few practices with a hamstring injury. Speed guy with soft tissue issues. Stop me if I've heard that one before. I like Anthony Schwartz, so I took him in our Dynasty Best Ball League.
I like him too.
It's a good Dynasty Best Ball pickup if you're playing that. Kyle Allen missing time with an ankle injury. He's behind Taylor Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick. By the way,
Donovan Peoples-Jones lighting up Browns training camp.
By the way, I had a Ryan Fitzpatrick look going on yesterday because I had a beard that was about down to my neck, but I got my hair cut. So
Oh, you should have kept it.
I thought about it. It would have been similar to what you look like, honestly.
I would have enjoyed it.
I thought about it, but my kid likes to grab it too and pull on it, so I gotta get
That makes sense. Oh God, Miles Sanders news.
Expect
I like-
Miles Sanders and Boston Scott to split touches this season. I don't.
I don't. What's happening to Philly?
Why?
They have. I like. Why is right? Like I get it. Sanders was massively inefficient as a pass catcher last year. We drafted Gainwell, who's better than Boston Scott. At least has more upside. I don't know if he's better at the second, but definitely has more upside. He's definitely the best pass catching back in your on this offense at this moment.
Yeah.
But-
Why would you split? I mean, they might. It doesn't specify what the split is. You read that and you say 50-50. If you're telling me that it's 70-30, I believe you. But anything more than that, hesitant. Boston Scott is a jag.
It's just showing Philly. They've shown no loyalty to Hurts, which we talked about earlier in the show.
And
Smith
so,
is dealing with Smith dealing with injuries.
are you
Raiders-
saying these hoes ain't loyal and Philly is these hoes?
Yes, yes. Don't ever make a hoe a housewife. And Philly is a hoe, or I guess a housewife in this scenario.
Levine Toilolo tore his Achilles, so yeah, Evan Ingram. Irv Smith, under the radar tight end pickup this year. Shining in red zone drills at training camp. Irv Smith is a guy that's going to have flex or better value most weeks, I think.
Yeah, well, I still want to see how this offense I don't see them throwing as much on a per game basis this year. Improved defense with people coming back injured. The improvements they made in free agency this year, the draft picks made, and then getting a couple guys that opted out from last year as well. I don't see this defense being so bad as it was last year to where Minnesota has to throw the football as much as they do, because they've clearly shown during the Mike Zimmer era that if they have a lead, they will just run the football, regardless of what they should be doing in that sense. It's hard for me to see them being the highly pass happy team to where Irv Smith is going to be a trusted tight end week in and week out.
Hey, let's talk about Sam Ellinger for a second. Off to a faster start than anticipated in Colts training camp, as we talked about Jacob Eason. So first off, is it possible that Ellinger unseats Eason? And second off, let's talk about Ellinger the prospect, because I'm pretty. I remember,
think you're the only person that likes him.
I didn't even like him that much. I liked what the statistics said, given what he did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that he's one of those guys that
If you believe in Easton, there's no way you should believe that Ellinger can beat him. Ellinger sucks. There's no way that you can believe, if you think that Easton has a shot to be anywhere close to Wentz, you cannot believe that Ellinger is anywhere close to him. I mean, you can talk about him as a prospect. I still think the Colts may bring somebody in, may bring some veteran in until Wentz is back, and then they just release either said veteran or Sam Ellinger. If Ellinger doesn't even go on I forgot what the term is.
practice squad.
Yeah, practice squad. Like he may
Forgot
end up
the
being a
term
practice
practice.
squad.
You forgot.
I forgot
practice
the term
squad?
practice squad. I'm so fired up over here about how much I don't care about Sam Ellinger.
I care about Sam Ellinger.
You're so nice. Like you just root. You like to root for the underdogs.
To a degree. I mean, look,
do.
Sam Ellinger's statistics as an older senior. Well, not an older senior. He's 22. He's the age he should be as a senior. Sam Ellinger's statistics said that, yeah, he could be when you baseline him. The tape did not agree with that. He had some ability to rush and pick up yards and scramble, flashed some accuracy in the short and intermediate game. He's not a game breaker by any means. That last note was because I had something nice to say. There just isn't. much impressive outside of cumulative stat lines, and that's exactly how I feel about Ellinger. So, I made the accuracy and athlete notes because I had to say something nice, because the stats were there, right? And stats to me say more than film because I'm not a pro scout. But film-wise, lack zip, slow through his reads, accuracy was suspect, holds the ball longer than he should, forces throws into coverage, lacks elite accuracy. So, really, I don't like Sam Ehlinger that much is what we're getting at. I just remember that statistically he lined up okay.
He's a guy. All right.
He's a guy, but he probably should not unseat Eason. Anyway.
Anyways.
And let's skip over all that. A lot of some free agent news. Marquise Goodwin, consistently problematic for the Bears secondary in training camp. Marquise Goodwin.
Is he going to be? So is he playing flanker or not flanker? I guess is he going to be the X guy with Robinson as a flanker and then Mooney? Is Mooney going to be in slot or is he going to be Goodwin?
The problem is that Mooney and Goodwin are both speed guys. So unless they're just going to stretch the field to death and have Robinson and Cole Kmet working underneath.
So Tariq Cohen out of the slot?
Could be.
Ooh.
I mean,
I like that more than it's trying to.
Very well could be, because that's the problem with Goodwin and Mooney is that they're essentially the same, right? They're both field stretchers. They're both deep guys, and Mooney is kind of the younger version of Marquise Goodwin. And we know that Goodwin can be productive. We've seen it. So, I don't know that if you put them both on the field, then, yeah, you're going to be throwing deep, and you're not going to be doing that with Andy Dalton. But with Justin Fields, that can make for an interesting dynamic.
And you have,
Kmet, Cohen, and Robinson. Kmet, Cohen, and Robinson working short to intermediate routes.
So empty backfield. Maybe you motion Tariq out. You have Robinson lined up playing big slot. Goodwin and Mooney on the outside with maybe Kmet also. Trying to picture this happening in my mind. Not bad. Kmet's got some opportunity to make a splash with them not having a true slot receiver. Maybe we see more Mooney play. Kmet play more big slot.
Yeah. Certainly interesting. The Bears are going to be interesting, and everything is pointing to Justin Fields starting. So,
because he fucking should. I don't care about his slow start. Still no reason to play Fields.
The slow start is gone. Everything has been hyped that I've seen.
Perfect, as it should.
So, Julio Jones missed the last 2 practices. Bears signed Alec Ogletree, another linebacker. Bears defense appears to be a little bit above average, not dominant like they have been the previous few years.
I wonder what AJ Green's contract was. I wonder if he could just get cut.
AJ or Julio?
AJ Green.
Oh.
Julio, they're probably just going to ease back. I think I've read that somewhere that they're just going to take it easy.
Joe Looney retired after saying that he loved the fact that the Giants had to run a bunch after a brawl at camp.
New York's a fucking shit show, man.
You just said fuck it.
Oh, you gotta love it. It just that team. I feel bad for our boy Matt Hicks. That's his team. Giants are his team.
N'Keal Harry looks the best he's looked in practice by a wide margin this summer.
Good enough to get traded. That's how I view it. AJ Green. I guess they won't cut him.
Don't buy into the hype with N'Keal Harry. Jalen Waddle flashed as an outside receiver. Yeah, he should be the deep threat there. Jalen Waddle, I'd expect to flash as an outside receiver. That's what they drafted him to do.
He's just got to stay on the field. He's already battling. And I guess there's people in the organization that still don't think he's back completely healthy.
Stafford has a thumb injury. Stop me if you've heard that one before.
Just be healthy. There's a lot of opportunity.
Here's one to talk about.
Offense.
Joe Burrow's skittish.
Did you read that post?
Yeah, we've
That
both
was-
seen that, and
Yeah. Oh my
he's
God.
struggled
that
badly
is-
with interceptions and inconsistency. He's seeing ghosts.
his largest throw was 10 yards. No, I do expect him to be better. I mean, obviously, you can't assume that the wheels have come off already. But is there any sort of chance that he could be the next David Carr, or the Bengals or I guess even next Andrew Luck? Except Luck was obviously successful and I think bigger than Burrow, despite the Colts never having an offensive line around him until I guess 5th or 6th year.
So I think he's more the next Luck. I mean, I think training camp is going to work through some mental things, and maybe he should be, right? I mean, I've never had an ACL tear, but I can imagine that you're going to be a little skittish for that. Bengals don't have a great O-line.
He's still
Yeah,
less than 9 months removed.
And he's less than 9 months removed from it. So I would say that I'm not concerned yet, but if these reports continue late into training camp, then yeah, you're worried about the yips.
I'm gonna make note.
I'll make note of it. I'm not doing anything with it yet.
Yeah, like there's no I'm gonna fade Burrow heavily, or I'm gonna trade all my Burrow shares in Dynasty. None of that. But I will keep note, because I still think there is a lot of truth to this. It's not just them trying to be all dramatic about it.
Yeah.
The Bengals improved their offensive line, not by much, but it has been improved by just getting players back and healthy, and them addressing.
Well, yeah, because
the
there's been a
O-line
lot of
free
high draft
agency.
picks on it. They've just all been hurt.
Yeah, and they addressed it in free agency. They addressed it again with a high draft pick this year. So, we'll see.
Yep. With Treat coming out, Damian Williams impressed his receiver in Bears camp. Andy Dalton reportedly still the Week 1 Bears starter.
How is it gonna make you feel if Damian Williams is actually effective as a Bear? Like, are you gonna be like when you have to say something positive about him?
He's not going to be. I mean, I'm not going to have to. Andy Dalton on track to be the Week 1 starter. This is Mike Glennon all over again.
Oh, fucking stupid. Hey,
Galladay pulled his
Justin
hamstring. We
Fields.
already talked about that.
yeah.
DJ Dallas has a shot to be the team's primary third down running back.
I mean, I guess that just speaks more to how they feel about Penny. But Penny was never a huge pass catcher, so who knows?
Dwayne Haskins looks surprisingly good in training camp for the Steelers. You know what? I'm rooting for Dwayne Haskins to beat out Mason Rudolph as the backup.
So, Hall of Fame games going on right now. Both Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins have played snaps. Rudolph went 6 for 9, 84 yards, 9.3 average. No touchdowns, no picks, no sacks. Dwayne Haskins, 8 for 13,
54.
4.2 average, no picks, touchdowns, or sacks taken.
That's pretty bad.
They're
It's
both
9 to
pretty-
It's 9-3.
It's pretty. I mean, again,
Oh,
Let's just
Kalen.
be-
Hold on. Wait a second. There has been one touchdown in the game for the Steelers.
oh god, that's happened. Hold on. Kalen
Kalen Balaj. Averaging
Telling up
3.8 a carry. Kalen
He is-
Balaj has gotten into the end zone.
Balaj is the best backup to Najee Harris. We better fucking pray that nothing happens to Najee Harris when Kalen Balaj is your best backup.
Yeah,
Woof.
you knew it was going to be something when I mentioned it.
Oh my god, that is not only are they playing Najee Harris way too much, and they played both Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool for no fucking reason. The fact is that Balaj is their best backup. So let's pray that nothing happens to Najee Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Just made my night.
The Kalen Balaj.
That Kalen Balaj. That Pittsburgh is it's like trying to ruin their players.
Philip Rivers would not rule out returning to the NFL in December or January. So, yeah, if there's a playoff team that has a quarterback that gets hurt, call me up.
It's going back to Indy.
Yeah. Michael Carter, a step above the other three running backs. Yeah, I'd expect that. Michael Carter should be highly talented and easily beating out Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman, and LaMichael Pirine.
Still don't care.
Care enough to spend a late-round pick.
Yeah, if he's, I got ADP pulled up. Michael Carter going 6'11". in between Melvin Gordon, and he's actually going above Trey Sherman.
Shit, he's going in the 6th round.
6'11", so late 6.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's a little.
I would
much.
take Michael Carter in double-digit rounds. I don't trust the Jets enough to take Michael Carter that early. Michael Carter in Dynasty? Yeah, I love Michael Carter. I was high on Michael Carter.
You were.
I
I'm
like
not.
me some Michael Carter.
That you do.
I cannot justify Michael Carter in the 6th round of redraft.
The Jets have proven absolutely nothing. A complete overhaul on their entire offense and coaching staff. There's going to be growing pains. I don't see Michael Carter handling any sort of majority workload. I think it's going to be a shittier version of what the Niners run. And that means just if you're going to take somebody, take them late. My best bet is just to take who's ever not hurt.
Yeah.
And that's if any of them are effective. Like I don't really care about Michael Carter. I don't think he's anything much in Dynasty beyond maybe the first couple of years. And if he does blow up, I'm trading him for whatever shares I have of him. So
Taysom Hill being used in an array of zone reads and designed. Trey Lance being used in a variety of zone reads and designed runs for the 49ers. Did I say Taysom Hill? That must have been a Freudian slip.
oh man, it's almost like you think Taysom Hill and Trey Lance are anywhere similar.
Yeah, well, no, Trey Lance is obviously better, but fuck Taysom
And he
Hill.
should still be excited.
Did you see the athlete that is Jameis Winston?
That video is fucking incredible.
I
He handed off the ball really well.
I agree. That video is incredible. He stayed on his feet. He took hits in the pocket. He didn't go down. I mean, look,
He
That's
ran
what
out
you
right
want.
through running back drill.
that's what you want from your quarterback is to take hits and stay up.
He looks like what you look like after the Cubs made it to the World Series. Stumbling through, but still coherent enough to keep his footing. Jameis Winston's going to look like us
This
Friday
weekend.
or Saturday night.
this weekend, yeah.
Barely staying up and stumbling through whatever God things will hit us.
By the way, who is rooming with who this weekend? How
have
many
no
rooms
clue.
did Nick get?
3.
He got 3. It's going to be 2-2-1.
Yeah.
You're probably by yourself.
Probably.
So probably him and Andy, me and Dickie, if I had to guess.
Probably.
Okay.
Former first round pick Josh Jackson is working out for the Giants. I wonder if it's at tight end.
Everybody's moving to tight end. KJ Hamler, COVID-19 list. Kadarius Toney, his on-field debut Tuesday. Jalen Rager passed his conditioning test. Good for him. Cooper's close. Goldman, COVID-19. Jalen Hurd worked into team drills for the first time in training camp. How do you feel about Jalen Hurd? Well,
Yeah, so-
temperature check, because I know you loved him.
Well, that was Hicks. I mean, he's big, ex-running back. He actually fits what the Niners like in their receivers to be great after the catch. He's probably, if he even makes the team, he's gonna be firmly behind Ayuk and Debo. I don't remember who else they have beyond that. Richie James, I think, is still there. It's a pretty wide open spot for that third spot, but it's a low volume passing offense when they're playing what they want to play. And when Lance actually takes over, you have a rookie quarterback who will likely be more run first than pass first. It's hard for me to get. I can't get excited about a lot of these receivers, and that also includes Kittle. I'm giving their price.
You know what I can get excited about?
I'm gonna look at their ADPs. Who can you get excited about? Oh God,
Broncos offensive coordinator Pat Shermer said he's seen the best version of Drew Lock in training camp.
What is that even? Best like, is that him rapping a line to Young Jeezy and Yeezys put it on, like with some sunglasses on.
This is the best version of Drew I've seen. He's done a really good job. Teddy's got experience. He's got experience in multiple offenses. But this is the best version of Drew I've seen.
Oh,
Sounds a
my
lot
God.
like Drew Lock is going to be your Broncos starting quarterback. And look, I don't know if Drew Lock or Zach Wilson is going to have the better season, but I'm here for it.
It hurts so much. I just
Lock
Just
it in,
just
baby.
trade.
Lock it in.
Denver just trade for Watson.
Nope.
Give up Drew Lock.
Drew
in the
Lock.
process.
Cortland Sutton's comeback player of the year candidate. Drew Lock at quarterback.
I mean, the only reason I want Locke to be the starting quarterback over Teddy is that I like Sutton's chances with Locke more than Teddy. It's just
Because Lock's a real quarterback.
is he? I don't even think the best version of himself is a real.
Hey, the Vikings have the lowest vaccination rate in the league.
Yeah, fuck Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I think, and also fuck Adam Thielen. I think Harrison Smith is also
Let's see.
part of that.
Let's see. Kirk Cousins, Kellen Mond, currently on the COVID-19 list.
I mean, this is at least Zimmer is so pissed off about this that he's trying to out his own players for believing for some of the things they believe in as woof. Zimmer's a G.
Let's talk
Zimmer's a G.
Let's talk about Keith Kirkwood for a second. You saw everything that went down there, right? With Kirkwood.
No.
So, dirty hit in training camp. The Panthers literally released the safety that did it
Yeah.
on the field after that hit. They're like, you're done.
Good.
Undrafted free agent. Popped Kirkwood helmet to helmet. Kirkwood had to be carted off. Carolina released him within 10 minutes.
Good.
So,
That's fucking
Kirkwood's out of the
stupid.
hospital now. I didn't even know
Good.
Keith Kirkwood had moved on to the Panthers, but out of the hospital.
glad he's out, and hopefully he can get back on the field and have a chance to make the roster. Says he's already a long shot, but you hate to see that. Hey, Pittsburgh scored again.
Was it Kalen Balazs again?
Oh my God, no, it's even better.
Oh, no.
Mr. Alien Man himself,
Josh Dobbs?
Joshua fucking Dobbs, throws a touchdown pass to something named
The
Tyler Simmons.
the fourth-string quarterback, Josh Dobbs?
It sounds like Tyler Simmons sounds like a player, a part of that Duke lacrosse.
Does Josh Dobbs or Dwayne Haskins make this team? Or Mason Rudolph? Who's the odd man out? There's going to be three quarterbacks.
I think Dobbs gets cut. I think Haskins beats out Rudolph for the number 2 spot.
I think Haskins beats out Rudolph for the number 2 spot. I think they value Dobbs as kind of that coach
Dobbs gets
rule
cut.
too much, and Rudolph gets cut.
I mean, I'm fine with either of them.
I just hate Mason Rudolph, so I'm hoping.
Yeah, I don't have any faith in Haskins, but I think he's the best out of these three, and at least can be competent enough and have the arm strength enough to somewhat push the football downfield.
I
I'm not
agree.
going to say it's going to be great, but at least it opens up the field more.
That's great. I agree with that. What do you think about your beer?
All right. Again, for those 15 people still listening, thank you very much. I am drinking Little
If it's
Beavers.
even that high, you give us way too
It's
much
even
credit.
that- yeah, that's true. I am drinking Adventures Ahead from Little Beaver. This is an imperial stout, aged in both bourbon and rye. Dark fruit is pretty heavy, and this is a bit sweet. Like I said, it's been about a couple years since I bought this can. It's a bit thin. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just there's not a lot of body. I don't think there's a whole lot of body to it compared to the other imperial stouts, and maybe that's because it's aged in both. Maybe that's because it's
What
been
was it
aged for
aged
2
in?
years. It in both rye and bourbon barrels.
Gotcha.
It doesn't say what. It doesn't say for how long.
Just depends. Some bourbon barrels
Yeah.
don't give you a lot either. So, for example, my relationship with Old Harold here in Collinsville.
I do.
Derek is aging a stout in an old Weller barrel. Weller 107 barrel.
Nice, good for him.
Yeah, except the barrel is not imparting shit on the beer. So, I mean, sometimes that just happens to where you get a barrel
Okay.
that just doesn't impart a lot. And
I mean, I've seen a lot of people will age that on Weller barrels for like 18 to 24 months too.
yeah, and he's still going, hoping to get something off of it. But I mean, I think that
That's fair.
it's just if the whiskey extracts X amount, you're just not going to get a lot off the barrel. You're not going to get a lot of sugars or a lot of body off of that.
I'm not overly impressed with this. It's not bad by any means. It's very much, drinkable. If you like barrel aged stout, still probably be like you would drink this if someone gave you a glass. If you try it, I'm not coming away impressed by it. I think it's fine. It's not like the elite, representation of this style. It's just okay.
Yeah. So, first and
It's
foremost,
basically the Drew Lock of Imperial Stouts.
so fantastic.
I love it.
So, I will say this first and foremost. I am very, very much a whore for good traditional style beers these days.
You are.
Adjuncts, and we're going to throw a million hops or a million different things into a beer has been so overdone here recently that
Yeah, it's old.
I'm very much like drawn towards more classic style beers like Dunkels and Doubles and Hefeweizens and Bocks and Porters and more your traditional style beers. So, in saying that, I'm super happy with Urban Chestnut because they do a lot of those, and this Dorf Beer Dunkel is no exception. Typically in a Dunkel, you're gonna get high malt notes, not necessarily caramely, and it definitely has that malt sweetness, but it doesn't border on caramel. There's a little bit of a cocoa backbone to it. Slight roastiness overall. Really well done. Really well balanced beer. I mean, look, Dunkels aren't released by everyone, so it's hard to say, like, this is the best I've ever had or this is the worst I've ever had. But it's a very drinkable beer. I think it represents the style well, based on my understanding of what the style is supposed to be. And, I would definitely drink. I mean, they're pint-sized, but I would definitely drink 4 more of those if I could. So, and again, that's just me being a whore for traditional style beers. So,
We've had 2 trades happen in our listener league, Dynasty Listener League, within the last.
did we get teams actually plugged in for that?
Yeah, it's all ready to go.
Oh,
I traded.
we're
away-
drafting. We're starting that draft tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah, I earlier this week I traded with Ryan Meyer a first. I traded Darnold for a 22 first round pick. One of the trades that was just made, I don't really care about. There's outside of Justin Jackson, and maybe John Brown, but it's a bunch of 3rd and 4th traded. This one's interesting to me. Austin Eckler or 21. Austin Eckler or the 105 this year. Obviously, Superflex, the league, so Superflex, tight end premium, 16 teams.
Probably Eckler.
So I think it fits. If you're not competing, I like the draft pick. If you are competing, I love the fact that you're going after Eckler. So I think it's a very fair deal, especially if both teams are getting their players, for the what I would think would be for the correct reasons. Like, you don't need to hold on to Eckler if you're not going to compete this year. And you don't, and I think it's worth the risk of the 105, which you're going to miss on probably the top 4 quarterbacks, maybe. I would think so. And you're looking at Chase, Harris, Etienne, maybe Mac Jones. So, yeah.
All right. Stafford thumb X-rays, Prescott shoulder injury. You concerned about either of them? Prescott shoulder injury described as more of a baseball injury.
No, we're so early on in the training camp. So the same thing, kind of like about Wentz. Come back to me if this is still a problem.
Yeah, we'll keep it.
Enter the season.
We're gonna keep track on this throughout the throughout training camp. I mean,
as of right now, I'm not concerned. Dak's very familiar with this offense. He doesn't need to have an insane amount of reps. Dak shouldn't play any preseason games to begin with. Same with Stafford. Even Stafford onto a new team, you just lost Akers. There's no need to risk out Stafford, who should at most play one series in preseason, and if that. Elijah Moore finally get to work with the first team. He is ascending in that offense while Denzel Mims, which is already news talked about last week, but worked its way up.
Moore's
It was. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No, Moore's working his way up as he should be. Mims is down, which I don't get because you're gonna need another outside receiver opposite Corey Davis, which Moore can play outside in. So I mean, you have. I guess the thing with the Jets though is that you have options, and that's gonna be the problem. And Elijah Moore is probably the second wide receiver you want there outside of Corey Davis, because you can put Moore outside and roll Braxton Berrios into the traditional slot role. Or you can move more inside, and then you have options on the outside with Keelan Cole and Denzel Mims.
They have a lot of slot receivers.
And Jamison Crowder, too. So you can put more outside and have Crowder in the slot as well. So, I mean, they've got options on that receiving core that are not necessarily bad. I think Moore has more versatility than anybody else, and versatility matters. Call back to season 1. But versatility matters. So, I think Moore is probably your second best bet in that offense behind Corey Davis. He's for sure to take one of the outside receiver spots.
I'm more happy that he's getting. There's a lot of praise with the chemistry built between him and Wilson. Like, it wouldn't shock. We know that Davis is the wide receiver 1 to start week 1.
Yeah,
it would not shock me if Moore has taken that role and then some by halfway through. You and I both greatly believe in Elijah Moore. I've been on Elijah Moore for 2 years. Like, I love this kid. And I hope, despite how I feel about Wilson and despite the Jets being a joke of a franchise, they've made all the right moves so far. And I'm very much intrigued by what this passing team could be.
The only reason you lean Davis season long over Moore is that he profiles as more of a traditional outside wide receiver 1, but Moore is just hyper athletic and is special. So
it's really difficult to see. I mean, so Davis should be considered the 1. Does that mean that he sees the most targets with Moore? Obviously, he's on a new team with a new quarterback, new coaching staff. Everything's new to him just as much as the Moore.
Just depends, but you want one or the other. I mean, if you can get one, get one.
I'm gonna look. So with ADP, as of right now, where's everybody here? So they're going back to back. Elijah Moore, 11-12, wide receiver 53. Corey Davis, 12-05, wide receiver 54. They're literally back to back, and I think it's fine if either of them start to creep up to the late single rounds. I would start to fade them in redraft. But both Moore and Davis going as double-digit round draft picks, I think, is completely fine and great as your end-of-bench stash.
Topps Platinum autographed Greg Robinson rookie card.
Nice. Look at you getting autos of players that no one cares about.
That's too.
I want you to get a Blake Bortles one so bad.
I want to get a Blake Bortles one so bad.
I may look at Blake Bortles cards on eBay and see if I can get you an early.
I have a Blake Bortles UCF card.
You do?
Yes.
And you were so... I've never seen someone so happy. I say I'll get you Zach Wilson, but that's going to cost too much money. But Blake Bortles and even probably Drew Lock's autos in whatever season, I think seems very fitting as a gift. No one in this world would appreciate that more than you.
It's true. Let's see. Tyreek Hill, knee tendonitis. Pay attention to that. I have knee tendonitis. It sucks.
And they're saying that he's what? Oh, never mind. Yeah.
ETN has been uncoverable in training camp. That's why you should only make him a third down back, Urban Meyer, you fucking idiot.
But I want him to use him like Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley's fine. He's fixed following surgery. There's
Who?
Calvin Ridley.
Oh, right. Anyway, I'm going to go through these cards and let's call it.
So that should be it. Yeah.
See if I get anything good in here other than, the auto I just mentioned. Nothing from the Notre Dame pack, I don't think. Mike McCoy? Is that the offensive coordinator?
I think so. That's hilarious.
Playboy's Lineman of the Year in 1969. Because that was a real award from Playboy. It was Lineman of the Year.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that.
Something called the Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson.
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I got a Reagan Upshaw 1996 draft pick card. I don't know what that's worth. Probably nothing.
Probably nothing.
Mark Edwards. Nope. Got a Marvin Jones Jr. card from Detroit. So, I mean, that's... For these packs, that's pretty good. Getting a Marvin Jones from Detroit. That's actually mildly relevant, at least. Freeman McNeil. Jets running back. You're familiar with him? Got a Demaryius Thomas Broncos card. Not a rookie card, but...
Wow. That seems like fun still, though.
Sophomore card.
Yeah.
It's at least something for me to put in there. A Donnie Jones card. Prestige 2010. Clinton Portis.
Clinton Portis.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got a Clinton Portis. Not
I love
anything
Clinton
special,
Portis.
but I love Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis was a good running back. There you go.
Dennis said he's going to mail us a Chris Winkie card right now.
Nice.
Chris fucking Winkie.
Denarius Moore. Chrome.
Ooh. And in his Raiders uniform?
Yeah. Calvin Martin. Tim Brown. Week 10 of something. I got a Reggie Roby. You know who Reggie Roby is?
I do not. Sounds familiar.
Dolphins punter from 1991.
Jalen Samuels has 11 carries for 20 yards.
That's terrible. Eric
love it.
Dickerson.
Ooh,
Raiders.
that's something.
Trey Sermon.
Trey Sermon.
That's actually Oklahoma. That's not even Ohio State.
That's his original team.
It's Trey Sermon in his Oklahoma uniform. Ian
That's
Book,
cool.
Sid Sherratt, Kyle Trask. I'll throw that one off to the side. I have no idea what Shane Simpson is. I've already gotten a Micah Parsons, but I'll throw that to the side too. Sam Ellinger. That's topical, at least. She got one of those earlier.
That is a thing.
Something called an Eli Harold. I got 2 Keith Jacksons. No, I just put them under the wrong finger. Okay. Anyway, $5 Walgreens cards. Occasionally you'll get some interesting shit in there. Keep in mind, I use the term interesting, not good.
I'm looking at Blake Bortles auto cards for you.
Are you?
They're expensive. Some of these are just like, well, why?
Did I tell you that I'm probably going to see the Jaguars and the Bills in November?
That's awesome.
Yeah. My boss and I were like, hey, we want to go see a former person that we used to work with who lives in Jacksonville. And he was like, pick out a game when the Jaguars are at home. And I'm like, looking at it, and I'm like, Jags Bills. That's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one. I want to see Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about going over to Baltimore and see the Ravens and Browns play in November.
Oh, yeah.
Last week of November, I believe.
I'm going to wrap this up so we can just talk about
Yes,
shit
let's
on
wrap
the
this shit
show.
up.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Your next episode, do you want to go next Thursday or do you want to just wait and do something live from the X?
Yeah, let's wait and do something live.
All right, we're going to do something from the Expo. It'll either be with Roto Lounge because we're probably staying with Brad at some point, or with whoever we find at the expo, which could be Ball Blast, could be headliners. We don't know. So we'll have something for you next week. We have no idea what it's going to be. We have no idea what the topic's going to be. If you're looking for something to do, looking to get out of town, Canton, Ohio next weekend. FF Expo. Tune into that shit.
Tune in.
Come say hi. We'll have shot glasses for you. And if Dan ever fills out his players, we'll have giveaways for you too.
That'll be there too.
We'll have one pagers for you.
But
you got to do that sometime before like next Tuesday. So I can get them printed. Okay. I haven't done mine either. I'm just giving you shit.
I love it. See you guys.
See ya.
Beer Fuel.